Meet the cat shadow and the Australian magpie eclipse. Typically, magpies are fascinated only by shiny objects, yet for Eclipse, her most prized treasure became her furry companion and their owner, the 27-year-old Mark Johnson. This extraordinary bond began several months ago when a man, while jogging through a wooded area, discovered an injured magpie beneath a venerable tree. The bird lay there, crying out in anguish as if abandoned by fate. The tiny magpie, evidently fallen from its nest, trembled helplessly. Without a moment's hesitation, Mark gently scooped up the distressed creature, wrapped it in his sweater, and took it home, convinced that he could save its life. In Mark's home, a graceful black cat named Shadow had long been a resident, renowned for its independent nature and penetrating gaze, a reflection of many years of experience. Although Mark adored his pet, he was aware that nature often enforces its own rules. Cats are predators of birds, and the arrival of a new feathered inhabitant could trigger instinctive reactions. The first days proved to be a true trial for all three. Initially, Shadow, driven by innate predatory instincts, could not resist the temptation. His sharp claws were poised to strike as soon as he noticed a flutter of movement from Eclipse. Yet, through Mark's daily, patient efforts to teach the cat to trust the newcomer, a bond greater than mere coexistence began to blossom between the animals. Over the following weeks, Mark's home transformed into an oasis of friendship, where each resident found solace in the company of another. Shadow, who at first regarded Eclipse as potential prey, began watching her with growing fascination and wonder. Soon, his cautious curiosity evolved into genuine attachment. In turn, Eclipse opened up to this enigmatic creature, allowing him to gently brush against her feathers as if drawing comfort in an otherwise harsh world. Under Mark's watchful care, the house filled with an atmosphere of mutual understanding and warmth. Every small gesture, whether it was the soft purr of the cat or the quiet rustle of the bird's wings, stood as a testament to the power of a friendship capable of overcoming even the deepest natural instincts. Mark vividly recalled the day he first found Eclipse, the intensity of the moment rivaling the glow of dawn. He shared with friends and acquaintances how his heart clenched in sorrow at the sight of the defenseless bird, and how it soon filled with a resolute determination to help her. That act became not merely a rescue, but the beginning of a journey filled with surprises and discoveries. Each new day brought fresh challenges. At times, Eclipse would let out a quiet cry of pain, and at others, Shadow appeared to struggle once again with his primal urges. In these small triumphs and setbacks, Mark saw not only the fight for survival, but also the opportunity for each of his pets to grow and achieve inner harmony. In time, the inhabitants of the house learned to understand each other without words. Shadow and Eclipse became inseparable. The cat would tenderly nestle against the bird's feathers as if imparting the warmth of his heart, and Eclipse, in return, trusted Shadow enough to allow him to perch upon her wings during long, quiet moments of rest. Mark often marveled at this extraordinary sight, feeling his own life imbued with meaning and joy. He crafted a cozy haven for his pets, where every corner was imbued with care and affection. In those moments, he reflected on the fragile yet immensely powerful gift of friendship, one that could melt away the ice of prejudice and defy the very laws of nature. Then came the warm summer days, when Mark decided to show the world that a bond between such disparate creatures was indeed possible. He organized a small excursion out of town to an ancient village where time itself seemed to stand still. Narrow cobblestone streets, lined with blooming gardens and venerable houses, provided the perfect setting for leisurely walks with Shadow and Eclipse. The villagers watched in astonishment as the trio passed by, a black cat striding regally along the age-old stones, and a magpie glittering with bright feathers against a clear blue sky, evoking the living image of a fairy tale. Mark recounted to everyone how his pets had become his true family, teaching him to cherish every moment of life, whether it was a quiet evening by the fireside or a bustling morning in the park. Every evening, as Mark returned home, he felt his soul fill with peace and gratitude. He observed that thanks to shadow and eclipse, his world had grown brighter and warmer, and the boundaries between the wild and the domestic, between nature and civilization, had dissolved completely. Friends, acquaintances, and even passing strangers began to wonder, can true love and friendship overcome the most potent natural instincts? The story of Mark, shadow, and eclipse became an inspiring testament for many, that life is capable of astounding surprises, opening up possibilities beyond our wildest dreams. One evening, as the first stars began to twinkle overhead, Mark sat in his cozy armchair, contemplating the deep significance his pets held for him. He recalled how Shadow, who once hissed menacingly at the new arrival, had gradually transformed into a gentle guardian, ever ready to offer support. Meanwhile, Eclipse, with her sparkling eyes and yearning for freedom, taught Mark to view the world without prejudice or limitations. Those evenings became a profound lesson in life, proving that each of us is capable of overcoming our fears, stepping beyond the familiar, and discovering love in the most unexpected places. Thus unfolded their remarkable tale, a narrative woven with vivid emotions, laughter, and the soft murmur of the wind as it passed through the old walls of their home. Sometimes, in the stillness of the night, when the moon illuminated every corner of their little world, one could hear the gentle purr of Shadow and the delicate chirping of Eclipse, as if they conversed in a language known only to them. These moments were as precious as the sunlit days they spent exploring their surroundings with Mark, savoring every minute together. Their bond came to symbolize the truth that genuine friendship knows no boundaries, no age, and is not subject to external circumstances. Years passed, and Mark's home filled with new stories and cherished memories. Neighbors noticed how their shared world had transformed, from a time when everyone lived isolated in their own little corners to a collective joy that united the entire community in the realization that even the most disparate creatures can live in harmony. Mark proudly recounted how, one morning, when Eclipse desperately tried to take flight at dawn, Shadow, as if sensing her need, gently nudged her upward. A vision that forever imprinted itself in his memory as a symbol of true understanding and love. Sitting on his porch and watching the sunset, Mark felt that life was imbued with a deeper meaning. He understood that every moment, every smile, and every touch was a precious gift of fate to be treasured. The story of his family, a family in which a cat and a magpie had become not merely animals, but true participants in his happiness, proved that there is always room for kindness, tenderness, and sincere love. Even when nature dictates its laws, the human heart can work wonders, uniting diverse worlds into one where harmony, mutual trust, and care prevail.